to another edition of our SIU Alumni Live Chats. I'm Caleb Hale, the Director of Communications for the SIU Alumni Association. Before I bring on today's guest, I do want to go over a couple of housekeeping items that we have in store about upcoming events. First thing I do want to alert everyone to is that our fall pop-up store is now open. We partnered with both Silkworm and the printing plant here in Southern Illinois. They're both offering items that are available for sale to alumni. You can order from either place now through September 26th. You'll get those items shipped to you. They'll be there in time for homecoming. There are a couple of new vintage items, some stuff specific to homecoming at both places. So do check that out. You should be getting an email. Most of you should be getting an email later today about that or other alerts. But those stores are up and available now for you to purchase items from. A couple of other things I wanted to bring up are events. As you can see, our events calendar for the fall is starting to fill out. We're still filling out some stuff from homecoming, just for homecoming that's coming up in October. We'll be putting more of those events on in the days ahead. But a couple of real quick upcoming items are tomorrow, actually, for our Banterra Bank Day tailgate. We partnered with Banterra Bank to do the tailgate for both customers of Banterra and also for anyone who is an SIU alumni. That's taking place before the SIU versus SEMO War for the Wheel game starts tomorrow at around 3. We'll be going right up until game time, so do sign up for that if you haven't already, or make plans to drop by, come and see us. Next week, we are on the road again with the football team at Northwestern in Chicago, and I can tell you right now we have a very limited amount of tickets available for that. When I say very limited, I mean probably less than 20 still available for this tailgate. We are almost at capacity on it, so if you're thinking about getting up there and going to that, you might want to act soon on that. Also with that, if you happen to be one of our Texas alumni, we were just down in Texas last week with the University of Carter Word game, but if you happen to be in and around the Colony, Texas area, there will be a watch party for the Northwestern game taking place at Walk On Sports Bistro. There's more information about that on our website as well. I'll stop it there, but there are other events that are coming up that you can look at and see, and do join us at one of those because, like I said, our events calendar is starting to fill up as it does in the fall. So I wanted to bring on today's guest, and it is our new athletic director for SIU, Tim Leonard. Tim, welcome. I'm going to open the floor to you, give you a moment to introduce yourself, tell everyone a bit about your background, since this you just got here recently, and this is the first time a lot of our alumni will probably have the chance to get any face time with you. Tell us a little bit about what you've learned at SIU so far.
Yeah, thanks, Caleb, and thanks for inviting me on here. I've been on the job now for a month, and it's been a lot of fun. This is the 6th university I've worked at. I actually started my career just up the road at Illinois State. So familiar with the state of Illinois, familiar with the Missouri Valley, and that's why this job was so attractive to me, and this region in particular. It just seemed like a perfect fit, and something that my wife and I were looking for is a school just like Carbondale that's got a very passionate fan base, alumni base, that's in a rural area, and where the university and the athletics department means a lot to this area in this region. So, much different than the last couple places I've been at in terms of being in a major metropolitan area. So again, my wife and I are really enjoying just the rural aspect of things. So, and again, just a little bit about myself. As I mentioned, this 6th university I've been at. So Illinois State, Boise State I worked at next, which was my alma mater. And then I was down at Central Florida, UCF in Orlando for about 10 years, just under. SMU in Dallas, and then the last stop prior to this was Towson University in Baltimore. So again, just can't tell you how excited my wife and I are to be here in Carbondale.
Well, I'm sure everyone welcomes you here, and is looking forward to seeing what your plans are for the program. Just coming here, having been here just over about a month on that, what kind of have you learned so far, and what kind of philosophies and I guess lessons do you bring to this role here, and what's kind of your overall philosophy on building and maintaining a successful athletics program?
Well, I think the first thing is you really got to just dig in and listen to as many people as possible and try to find out what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, what's the history. I think I'm a big fan of history. I love history. But I also think from a work standpoint, that's very important to learn where we've been, because it's hard to plan where you're going if you don't know where you've been. So I think that's been a lot of what I've been trying to do and will continue for the next several months. But as you move forward, it's easy to identify some spots that need improvement. And I think my predecessors have done a very good job of investing in keeping our sports programs at capacity so that they can try to be successful and our student athletes can have a great experience. And I think now the thing we've got to try to fix right away is just some of our operations, hire out some staff and really take a look at, evaluate our processes and procedures on how we operate, try to streamline that, make us as efficient as possible. And then we got to look at the resources that we have and where we can grow and what are those things that we can do a better job of, as well as maintain the things that we are doing a good job of, so that we can really get this thing rocking and rolling. Because that's obviously everybody's goal and desire is to have a high functioning athletics department that does things the right way, and that wins a lot of championships. And that's not easy because every school in the country is trying to do that. But yeah, that's what makes it fun.
So let's start off talking about what season we're currently in right now with football. Now we had our season opener at University of Incarnate Word last weekend down in San Antonio, Texas. Alumni Association was there having a tailgate. We had a good crowd. People were excited. Weather didn't necessarily cooperate there for the first part of the game, and everyone probably would have preferred a different outcome. But what are kind of your thoughts on the football season coming up? What can people expect?
Well, I still maintain a lot of enthusiasm and excitement for where I think this team can go. That nobody wanted that outcome that we had last week, but and you got to figure out how to overcome obstacles, obviously. But that was such a difficult environment when you go down. You're a road team. You're playing a night game, which is difficult anyway for the visiting team, and then you get a 2-hour lightning delay, and you got a locker room that it's a baseball locker room. It's designed for 30 people, not 100 guys. So the home team obviously has a big advantage in that when they're in the locker room that's theirs, it's air conditioned, they got room for everybody, and most of our guys were just hanging out on the concourse of the stadium, and then the lights go out, and then it just seemed like it compounded, right? So a frustrating start, but I get it. As I told Nick, I'm like, you just got to forget about that. It was just one of the more bizarre games I've ever been a part of in terms of the obstacles that happened during the game and how to overcome those. And we got to get focused on Saturday and go out and play the way we're capable of playing, and let's finish out the season strong.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a game that was hard to build momentum on and keep it going. There with all the kind of the delays and starts and stops with it. We play SEMO this weekend. I know they started their season with a loss too. I think this past week. So I mean, but this is a game. This is kind of a regional rivalry that's been going on for a number of years now. And what kind of do you expect out of this one?
Well, I expect good weather, good crowd, and a victorious outcome. Right? That's always the expectation, and hopefully that will happen. And I know that the guys and the coaching staff are chomping at the bit to get back out onto the field and get some things straightened out and show Saluki Nation what this program and this team can do. So hopefully the weather cooperates. I have no desire to sit through another lightning delay like we had to last week. That's just not fun. But it does appear we're going to have some good weather tomorrow, and I really hope people come out and enjoy it and just have a good time. That's what games are supposed to be about, right? Let's have some fun, and so it'll be my first game day experience here in Carbondale, and I'm really excited to see it.
Yeah, it'll be the first home game of the season. I know we've got a number of people already signed up for our tailgate that's happening with Banterra, so it seems like we're on track to have a good crowd there as well. I think there's at least a sense, I think, that there's stability in the program right now because, of course, Nick Gill did just get his contract extended for another 5 years. So I think people know, all right, well, we're kind of in it for another long haul. Let's see what kind of program starts to develop out of that now. Moving on a little bit toward more looking towards homecoming, what in terms of getting people out for that, how important do you see that as kind of signaling to the team that the Saluki Alumni Nation or community is behind them?
Yeah, I mean, there's always 3 good games that you can bank on for attendance, right? So we want to maximize those, and that's a first game, and then you got family weekend, and then homecoming, and those 3 can really carry your home schedule. So I think it's going to be important that we really do all we can to do activities and welcome alums back, particularly if they haven't been to campus lately. We want to get them here so we can show off the campus, and it's just as beautiful, if not more so, than they probably remember if they haven't been on campus. So, that's really what we want to do is make it just a big party, a good time, and get people here. But those 3 games are key for us. We've got to maximize our attendance at those games as well as make sure we win ball games on those 3.
All right. And of course, the other big sport that we have here that people always look forward to is basketball. What do we have a kind of a solid basketball schedule going yet? How's that developing?
Yeah, Coach Mullins he's still trying to finish it out. We got 2 games left. We're trying to get scheduling is always a difficult challenge, and it just keeps getting harder and harder. Every year as the now the Power 5 schools rarely play true road games in their non-conference. And so that just means there's not that many non-conference road games at home you can pick up. It's hard. But we feel pretty good about it. We think we have a fairly competitive schedule that'll get us ready for the Valley. And like you said, we just got to nail down 2 more games, and then we'll get that out.
And of course, we've got some new teams in the MVC this year: University of Illinois Chicago, Belmont, and Murray State University. What do you think? How do you think that's going to change up kind of the dynamic of the conference and what to expect in the season?
It's a little hard for me to really know since I haven't been in the league for a while. But I really think all 3 of them in particular are great additions. I think the Murray State and Belmont, particularly Murray State, from a SIU perspective, is a great thing. They're close to us. Murray State is probably less than 2 hours from here, and so anytime you can add easy bus trips to the league. That's a good thing. And oh, by the way, both those programs pretty darn good. So we'll have our work cut out for us playing Murray State, Belmont, and obviously UIC. And then you throw in the rest of the Valley. And I can tell you this much: I am so excited to be back in the Valley. It is such a great basketball league, and there's so much tradition and history in this league, and it'll be fun to be in it again.
Okay, we will look forward to that. Football, basketball are a couple of things, but I don't want to take away from many of the other sports and programs that you have there. What else should people be paying attention to in the athletics department? What other programs are really strong right now, or really doing great things?
Well, I like where soccer is headed, our women's soccer program. It's a relatively new program for the department, but they had another game last night, ended in a tie. But as we know in soccer, that's ties are a good thing. So, but they're headed in the right direction, I think, under our new coach. And then the spring sports in particular, I am really excited about, between softball and baseball, both. Softball, this is one of the better programs around. And hopefully we can stay healthy and continue to get into the NCAA tournament and make some runs in that. And baseball, Lance has done a tremendous job with this program, and optimistic. One of the first things I want to try to do is upgrade their facilities. We've got some money on campus that we're going to be able to put into that, and I'm hopeful that we'll have some plans and a strategy identified to try to build out the rest of it that we can announce this spring.
Yeah, let's go into that too, because another part of your role as athletic director would be in fundraising and fostering alumni and community support as well. What kinds of things do you think SIU can do or needs to do to kind of start building, or to build and strengthen those aspects of the program right now? What are we doing well, and what would you like to see or build upon in your tenure here?
Yeah, I mean, the good news is that, my predecessors did a really good job of addressing the biggest needs, right? So the high ticket items, the football stadium, the Banterra Center, and then all the offices, meeting rooms, all that for those coaches, men's, women's basketball and football. And then you look at the weight room and our academic center and the Trout Whitman Center down there. I mean, first class, big time facilities. And so now we got to turn our focus on a couple of the other things. Like I say, I think baseball, I'd like to do some work in there and try to really beef that up. And then, Lingle Hall needs a little work. It's a little old and tired, so we need to spruce that up a little bit too. So those are some of the glaring, the obvious things. But we're going to sit down and really map out, have a comprehensive facilities master plan that we can look at, identify what our needs are, and then prioritize those. And to be honest with you, what we'll prioritize them will be donor engagement. Where a donor gets excited about what projects they want to see happen, that will determine what our priorities are.
And what are some things that you want to see from the alumni in terms of that engagement? Outside of, obviously, not everyone can give to the capacity that would be most helpful to the programs, but it doesn't take that. It takes coming out to the games, just engaging with the program. What kinds of things would you like to see, and what kinds of opportunities do you hope to make available to them for that?
Yeah, I think just showing your pride, little things, right? Like today, on Fridays, wear maroon, right? Wear your SIU gear on Fridays. And I get it, not everybody's in the Southern Illinois region where it's an easy drive over to campus to go to games. So, if you're living several hours away from campus, then watch the games, right? I think that's important. Go to road games if we're in your area, much like we saw last week down in Texas. Great showing by the SIU alums down in that region. But I think that's, again, just so important. Just be engaged, watch the games, follow the games, and wear school colors. And if you live in the area, buy tickets, come to the games. If you're out of the area, like I say, try to get to 1 or 2 games a year maybe here in Carbondale. But if not, follow us, go to watch parties, because that's extremely important too.
Okay. Well, Tim, I'm going to let you close it out with anything else that you might want to say on here, or any final thoughts for anyone.
Yeah, good question there for final thoughts. My big thing is I'm still getting settled, trying to learn my way around, and a number of people have already offered their favorite eating establishments, so I'm kind of eating my way through Southern Illinois right now, and so I'm always open to any other suggestions on eating establishments from people out there. I'd say that's for final thoughts. Just have some fun with it. So there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Somebody give me a list of their favorite eating establishments.
Any particular types of food you're looking for that you haven't found yet?
No, if you look at me, you can tell I eat most foods that are in front of me.
Okay, fair enough. But hope you found some favorites so far. And yeah, there's if you go outside even the Carbondale area and beyond, you'll probably find some more stuff as well. If you like wine as well, this is the place for it.
Yes, and I had my initial experience last night at the Midland Inn, and this morning I had my first ever breakfast at Mary Lou's Grill. So I'm hitting hot spots.
You're off to a strong start, so those should become favorites there before too much longer.
Yeah, I'm probably going to need a nap this afternoon after all that, but
yeah, for the weekend as well. So we do hope everyone does join us this weekend. If you can, if you're in the Chicago area, join us next weekend at Northwestern. Like I said, tickets are limited for a tailgate. However, you may still be able to get tickets to the game as well. But plenty more opportunities that will be coming up to meet and greet with us, with Tim, with other people at the university. We're pretty excited about the fall semester and the school year ahead. So, Tim, thanks for joining us today. Best of luck on the season and in the new job.
All right. Thanks, Caleb. Thanks for having me on, and I look forward to meeting as many alums as I can as I tour the country here. All
right. Well, thanks, everyone, for joining us. We'll be back here in a couple weeks with someone else new for you to meet and talk to. In the meantime, do follow us, do stay connected, and go Dogs.